People all over Western New York and the country have been sharing prayers and turning to their faith after yesterday's tragedy.
News 4's Gabrielle Mediak went to an emotional service this morning at True Bethel Baptist Church.
Lord, forgive the anger in my heart right now.
Governor Kathy Hochul putting into words how so many in a grieving community are feeling. Just a day after 10 innocent people were killed at the grocery store, the pain and trauma is now beginning to set in.
This is not okay in Buffalo. This is not okay in New York. This is not okay in America.
And at a time when tensions were already running high, a disturbance began the service.
Put down your gun. Everybody, put down your gun.
Get them. Move. 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 Where's security? Go.
A scary moment in the wake of recent events quickly realized to be a misunderstanding. The person had no weapon but was preaching to stop gun violence. After the interruption, Bishop Darius Pridgeon went on to speak to the dozens grieving at True Bethel Baptist Church.
It's not to hold it in, but to grieve. But grieve in a healthy way. This is not the time to tear up our own community, because our community did not do this.
Pridgeon says the anger and passion is justified.
And if you do not stand behind those holy deaths and acknowledge that there are still people who hate black people, you can go to hell with the shooter for all I care.
Several shared their experiences at the service, including Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown. He says the moment he saw former Fire Commissioner Garnell Whitfield on scene will never leave him.
And said, "Commissioner, are you here to help?" He said, "Yes, Mayor, but I'm here because I'm looking for my mother." And nobody has heard from her. We've been calling her and she's not answering the cell phone. And her car is still in the parking lot. And I'm afraid that she's one of the victims of this shooting. And sadly, we later learned that Commissioner Whitfield's mom, his 86-year-old mother, was one of the people that was gunned down.
Ruth Whitfield was simply shopping, going about her day when she was ruthlessly killed, much like how 20-year-old Zaire was just doing his job when he was shot.
Divine protection is what his mother called it. Divine protection. A bullet that went right through his neck. A bullet that was meant to cause the most possible damage if it hit anything, and it went right through him. Divine protection. Thank God above.
All who spoke today agreeing that change is long overdue.
But after we pray, after we get off of our knees, we've got to demand change. We've got to demand justice. This was domestic terrorism, plain and simple. This were acts of hate, and it should be prosecuted as such.
And even in the darkest of times, the city of good neighbors lives up to its name.
And allow the mercy that is new today be enough to carry them today, tomorrow, and in the future to come.
As the service closed, families of the victims joined together for a moment of prayer and embraced.
Yes, people will talk about Buffalo, but I want them to talk about Buffalo as the last place this ever happened. We will let this end right here.
At True Bethel Baptist Church, Gabrielle Mediak, News 4.